The 1979 NFL season was the grand finale to 10 memorable years, a season worthy of the decade's curtain call. NFL 79, an incredible year. "1979 had its share of oddities and rarities, as well as such familiar rituals as one athlete going head-to-head against another. Like other years, there were new stars to watch, but this season's group shone brighter than usual. Established names continued to flourish. There were come-downs and comebacks. Some souls lost and forgotten returned to prominence, while others punctuated storied careers with one last hurrah. 1979 featured a constant battle of wills, strength against strength. More so than before, those who hit harder, ran faster, and threw farther won the most acclaim. In that respect, 1979 was abundant with heroes. A rousing conclusion to a rousing football decade. This was NFL 79. "1979 was a year when old cliches no longer stood up and time-honored theories came tumbling down. For years, experts have said, if you can run, you can win. Well, last season, the St. Louis Cardinals, led by number 32 Otis Anderson, gained more yards running than any team in the NFC. But they couldn't win and finished dead last in the Eastern Division. It has always been true that the most successful teams make the fewest mistakes. Not so in 1979. The world champion Pittsburgh Steelers often resemble the college fraternity touch football team, well into its third keg of beer. They led the league in fumbles, bumbles, and turnovers, but they also led the league in victories. In San Diego, the Chargers barbecued another sacred cow. Every season, the computer tells us a team that passes more than it runs is doomed. Last season, Don Coryell, the head coach of the Chargers, defied the odds and contradicted the computer. Coryell's Chargers passed more than they ran, and at the end of the year, they were champions of the AFC West. To all teams everywhere, winning was still the only thing, and it seemed that the best way to win was to throw. Riding the crest of this wonderful wave of offense were the wide receivers. They were the lonesome cowboys of the NFL, gunning down defenders in man-to-man duels, then galloping off through the wide-open spaces. The wide receivers of '79, men like young John Jefferson of the Chargers, and Ahmad Rashad, number 28 of the Minnesota Vikings, an old veteran who led the NFC in pass receptions. And when the occasion called for last-second heroics, no one was better than Cleveland's Reggie Rucker.
52 seconds to play. Sight back to throw. He throws in the end zone. It is a touchdown! Touchdown! Cleveland with 52 seconds left. It's Reggie Rucker.
Week after week, pass catchers prove that dash and dexterity can be as impressive as brute force, and ultimately more successful. No intricate and sophisticated pass patterns this year. Just everybody out for a long one. These are the men with the gift of grab, men who could snatch victory from the jaws of defeat.
80,000 plus cheering the Browns on. We're in sudden death.
Back to throw. Side looks and throws it deep to Rucker. He's open. Touchdown! It's over! Reggie Rucker. Pass from sight. He wins the ball game.
A 39-yard pass give, and that's his 8th reception of the afternoon.
The Browns have defeated the Miami.
In a season of startling upsets, wide receivers were Sunday's heroes. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers became a member of the National Football League in 1976. They were a motley crew of cast-offs, cranks, and cripples. Their head coach, John McKay, came from the University of Southern California, where he was unaccustomed to defeat and disorder.
We went through 8 quarterbacks. Every time I looked up, start that guy. We had no audible system because we had the left guard was from Nova Scotia and the right guard was from, we just picked up from Philadelphia. They barely knew each other's name.
The Bucs stumbled at the starting gate, then went straight downhill. They were America's belly laugh. Tampa Bay went on to lose 26 games in a row and were ridiculed as the worst team in the history of professional football. Then came the incredible transformation that saw them go from worst to first. In 1979, Tampa Bay's aggressive defense led the NFC in nearly every department, and a previously pitiful offense was revitalized by emerging stars like running back Ricky Bell and quarterback Doug Williams. Although conservative on offense, the Buccaneers won 9 of their first 12 games, causing critics to presume that head coach John McKay was pulling rabbits out of his hat. By the 13th week, the Bucs were 1 game away from the playoffs, as the McKay plan ran ahead of schedule. One step from the playoffs, this rags to riches story began to unravel against the Minnesota Vikings.
Flank! Eckwood! Come here! Tell me how far it is down there, and don't tell me it's a damn yard. Running like he warmed up, like an old lady. Now, if we have to kick a damn extra point if we get in there, we haven't made one yet. We haven't even blocked anybody yet.
Place kicker Neil O'Donoghue's extra point try was blocked as the Bucks on this day proved unworthy of the Central Division crown.
At least you ought to block somebody in there. Get out there, you idiot! No guts, that's what's wrong with us. We got an excuse for every damn thing we do.
The numbing defeat set off a chain reaction of 3 straight losses. Angry fans called their team the Chokeneers, and worse as Tampa Bay became infected with gallows humor.
After the Minnesota game, Neil O'Donoghue tried to commit suicide. He put a gun to his head, but somebody blocked it.
You see my watch? It's been the only consistent Buccaneer since they were born. It's never stopped running.
And what we needed was Knute Rockne, and he was not here. We will attempt to come back next Sunday in Tampa Stadium in front of our own crowd. We've now proven we can't play on the road or in front of our own crowd. So we would like to have a neutral site.
On Sunday, December 16th, under the worst possible conditions, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers had one last chance to right all the wrongs and redeem their championship dreams against the Kansas City Chiefs. For more than 3 quarters, they slogged and sloshed, mired in a scoreless tie. Then, with 2 minutes left on the clock, the Bucks finally got their chance to cash in on a championship.
19-yard field goal attempt. Neil O'Donoghue. The rain has let up a great deal. Awaiting the snap from Steve Wilson. It is a low snap. The kick is up. Good! The players are really whooping it up on the sidelines. This is quite a sight to see. The Buccaneers are the NFC Central Division champions, and we are popping the champagne.
The 1979 Tampa Bay Buccaneers, from worst to first. For the 16 weeks of the regular season, pro football is just a game. But in December, when the playoffs begin, it becomes a civic movement, and each city rallies behind its team for the final push to the Super Bowl. In Pittsburgh, the Steelers easily defeated the Dolphins, but in other cities, the playoffs reflected the regular season as underdogs frolicked and upsets flourished. There was no brotherly love in Philadelphia as the Eagles beat up the Bears. But the next week, the Buccaneers went through Philadelphia like the Metroliner and crushed the favored Eagles with a smartly executed game plan of hard running and accurate passing. Bum Phillips and his Houston Oilers reminded us all that football is a game of guts as well as game plans. Playing without Dan Pastorini and Earl Campbell, and with half their defense playing hurt, Houston seemed certain to lose to the high-scoring Chargers. But the Oilers drew inspiration from adversity and whipped San Diego in a stunning upset, 17-14.
I said before the game we were short on manpower, but we were long on guts, and I'm damn sure right.
Guts alone cannot win championships, and Bum's brave bunch was overpowered by the Steelers in the AFC Championship game.
I don't think anybody can beat Pittsburgh except Houston, and we didn't.
Houston's season ended in Pittsburgh. In Dallas, the Los Angeles Rams season was really just beginning. Of all the teams in the playoffs, the Rams had the poorest regular season record. But against the Cowboys, they cast aside their underdog image like Clark Kent's business suit and emerged as the surprising new super team of the NFC.
I've been around football all my life. That's the best damn effort I've seen any team my whole career ever give.
The following week in Tampa Bay, 3 swings of Frank Corral's foot defeated the Bucs and sent the Los Angeles Rams homeward bound to Pasadena for their first Super Bowl ever.
Not only myself, but all the other players. We've been through hell this year. We really have. And we all stuck together.
Remember, we got one more to get. Yeah, we got one more to get. Let's go get Pittsburgh's ass.
Get Pittsburgh. That has been the futile battle cry of every team in the NFL. Not since Vince Lombardi's Green Bay Packers has one team so dominated pro football. No other team challenges its opponents with as many skilled athletes. Franco Harris, Terry Bradshaw, Lynn Swann and John Stallworth, Joe Green and Jack Lambert. They had already played in 3 Super Bowls and never lost. And now the Steelers look to close out the decade with yet another world championship. Super Bowl 14, Rams versus Steelers. One team defending its title, the other out to shed a loser's label. Many observers tabbed the game as a mismatch, but from the start, the Steelers and Rams played a surprisingly even power game inside the trenches. The first sign of Ram defiance came from number 26, Wendell Tyler. Tyler showed the steel curtain might not be impregnable. Then Ram quarterback Vince Ferragamo erased all doubt. Using every tactical maneuver their playbook offered, the Rams led for much of the game. The possibility of an upset now seemed imaginable. But the Pittsburgh Steelers did not become three-time world champs by accident. They set out to catch the Rams, then reclaim the lead for their own. Lynn Swann's touchdown grab was a vivid reminder of the Steelers' ability to strike at will. Then quarterback Terry Bradshaw and number 82, John Stallworth, encored with a passing performance of their own. Final score, Steelers 31, Rams 19. For an unprecedented fourth time, the Vince Lombardi Trophy, football's most cherished prize, belonged to the Pittsburgh Steelers, despite the noble efforts of a courageous Los Angeles Rams team. NFL 79 ended the same way it began, with the Pittsburgh Steelers reigning as kings of the professional football world.
All right, girls, remember to pick up your pom-poms at the 30-yard line and fluff them before the introductions.
Super Bowl programs. Super Bowl souvenirs. Super Bowl pennants. Super Bowl programs. Get your Super Bowl programs. Super Bowl 14 pennants. Get your pennants here.
Steelers wear the black jerseys, the white numerals, the gold pants with a black stripe and the black helmet. And across the way, the Rams, their colors are gold and blue. They wear white jerseys, blue numerals, gold pants, and they've got the blue and gold helmet. Theirs has been a storybook season. The off-season death of their owner, Carol Rosenblum. His wife, Georgia, taking over the ball club. The firing of his son, Steve, was now with the New Orleans Saints. The dissension they had within the organization. But all through this, Ray Malavasi has held the club together and brought them to the NFC title to face the defending champion Steelers in Super Bowl 14.
The Steelers and the Rams arrived at this championship game from opposite directions. In the 14-year history of the Super Bowl, never have two teams been so different. The Steelers were the defending champions. They had the best record in the NFL and came to Pasadena supported by the loudest, most loyal fans in all of football. The Rams, on the other hand, had the worst record of any team ever to play in a Super Bowl And unlike the Steelers, they looked at their fans with cynicism and indifference. For these were the same people who had booed and insulted them at mid-season when they were hurt and in second place. The Rams came to the Super Bowl with a grim resolve to erase their reputation as a team with no heart and to bury forever their infamous legacy of choking in championship games.
Give the pitch to Tyler, holds that ball like a loaf of bread, turns the corner to 20 to 25.
Come get it, come get it, that's it, come on, Wendell. Come on, Wendell. That play's gonna break. That play's there. 46F will be there. Dwight White is way down in the game. We blew him out on that, but boy, I'll tell you, 46F is hell of a. All right. 46F, boy, there's a hole a mile wide.
Ferragamo hands it off to Wendell Tyler, looking for an opening across the 50, the 45-yard line, the 40, look out! Far sideline, 35, the 30, missed by a tackler, the 20, the 15, and down the 14-yard line! Come on, let's go!
Wendell Tyler's 39-yard gain early in the first quarter was the longest run permitted by Pittsburgh all year, and it's worth another look. Although he didn't become a starter until the 5th week of the season, Tyler finished the year as the Rams' leading rusher. And this weaving trip through the Steelers set up the first touchdown of Super Bowl XIV. Cullen Bryant piled into the end zone and gave Los Angeles a 7-3 lead.
And right now, the Rams are winning the battle of the line of scrimmage. They're getting off the ball, and they're beating the Steelers' defensive line.
It's going to be a long day today, boys.
Cromwell kicking from the shadows, booms the ball, a line drive, maybe a chance for a return as Anderson gathers it in at the 2. He's back to 10 to 15 to 20 to 25. Look out the near sideline, the 30 to 35, the 40 down the near sideline. Caught from behind by Joe Harris and swung out of bounds at the 47-yard line.
And the Steelers got to go to work.
For the last several years, it has sometimes seemed that there is one league for the Pittsburgh Steelers and another for the rest of those who play pro football. For hidden beneath Pittsburgh's smooth and flawless execution is the pounding pulse of brute power. On defense as well as offense, the Steelers breed the conviction in the opposing team that it must play an almost superhuman level of football to have any chance to succeed. The Rams gave ground grudgingly and kept Pittsburgh out of the end zone until early in the second period.
1 yard line, just inside the 1.
Here it is, the irresistible force and the immovable defense. Pitch the ball to Franco, and he's running wide right, and he goes in for a Pittsburgh touchdown. Flyer was his blocker. He came outside Rocky. There was nobody there.
Ah, they made it look easy. Come on, Rams, let's go, you jerk.
The Steelers were still the same tough Steelers, but they would soon discover that their opponents were definitely not the same old Rams. Throughout the year, the Rams were a running team, often inflexible, always conservative. But today, when their running game faltered, they threw caution to the winds and decided to gamble on the raw passing skills of a young substitute quarterback named Vince Ferragamo. Pat Hayden, the Rams' regular quarterback, was injured and watched the game from the coach's booth, hoping that his young replacement would not crack under Pittsburgh's pressure. Ferragamo faced the famous charge of the steel curtain with poise and resilience. Although he was sacked several times, his consistently accurate passing enabled the Rams to control the ball for the rest of the first half. Twice Ferragamo moved the Rams into scoring position, only to have potential touchdown passes bounce off the fingertips of his intended receivers. Some of the points, which had slipped through the Rams' fingers, were retrieved by the toe of Frank Corral, whose 2 field goals gave Los Angeles a 3-point lead.
Ferragamo the other day said, I know we're going to win. He said, I won't give you the score, but I know we're going to win. And I was sitting 6 inches from him when he said it, so he said it, a Joe Namath-type statement.
The Rams had not only the lead, but a new image as well. A once drab and lifeless offense had taken on a new luster. At the end of the first half, nothing seemed right for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Players that are usually lively and lighthearted were guarded and somber. And the coach, Chuck Noll, who is usually grim and intense, was loose and full of fun.
And I had talked to Art Rooney the other day, and he said, I don't have a feeling about this game. I can't get a feeling. And whenever I haven't had a feeling, our Steelers have been beaten. Well, right now they're on the trailing end of a 13-10 score. They got to buckle down.
Terry Bradshaw began the second half with the same curiously conservative approach he had used in the first half, nibbling at the Ram defense with short, safe passes to his running backs. But then, like a pool hall hustler who has been trifling with his victim too long, Bradshaw suddenly showed his game.
He looks downfield, has time, cranks it going, long for Swan! He's got it! Swan, touchdown, Pittsburgh!
Bradshaw's pass to Lynn Swan was a concise resume of the Steeler attack, daring and explosive, able to score from anywhere at any time. The Rams had 2 defensive backs covering Swan and a linebacker blitzing Bradshaw, and still they could not damage the throw or prevent the catch.
Swan takes it for the touchdown. A perfect strike by Terry Bradshaw. I love it.
Bradshaw, on his first attempt of the long bomb in this game, has hit Swan for the TD.
Well, what do you think about that? The Steelers move ahead, 17-13.
Surely this stunning blow, one that has become a Steeler trademark the last 2 seasons, would finally brush off the pesky Rams. It did not. Ferragamo took a page from Bradshaw's Go for Broke book and hit Billy Waddy for a 50-yard gain. Before the Steelers could recover, the Rams struck again.
Ball goes to McCutcheon, option pass, he throws downfield, leaping drop, touchdown, Ron Smith! Back and forth we go. The Rams back out in front by a score of 19-17, and we've not seen that play all year long.
Maybe it was the fact that nobody gave them much of a chance, and therefore there wasn't much to lose. Maybe it was simply the realization by the Rams coaches that their team had to open up on offense to win.
Great play.
Whatever the reason, these new remodeled Rams had come from behind for the third time in this Super Bowl to take the lead. Frank Corral missed the extra point, but the Rams' touchdown had revealed another facet of their expansive new offense, and with it, a 2-point advantage. While the Rams' offense expanded, its defense contracted and tightened up. They clogged up Pittsburgh's inside running lanes, and since neither Franco Harris, number 32, nor Rocky Bleier, number 20, has the flat-out speed to run wide, the Steelers were forced to abandon the running game they take so much pride in. Terry Bradshaw still had Lynn Swann to throw to, but even that ray of reassurance faded when Swann was knocked out of the game by Pat Thomas. With a crippled passing attack and a sputtering running game, the Steeler Express wobbled into disaster. Twice in the third period, Bradshaw was intercepted, once by Eddie Brown, and again by Rod Perry, number 49. The frustration that had played so much a part of the Rams season now belonged to the Steelers.
Time runs out in the third quarter of play. 15 minutes of football remain. The crowd on its feet in the Rose Bowl. The score, the Rams 19 and the Steelers 17.
Great teams aren't always great. They're just great when they have to be.
Bradshaw calls out the signals. Remember, Pittsburgh, the most dangerous fourth quarter team in the NFL.
Now Bradshaw pumping, firing downfield. There goes Stallworth. He pulls it in at the 30, the 20, the 10, the 5, and it's a touchdown for Pittsburgh on the ball to Stallworth. And Stallworth beat Rod Perry. Oh, did he beat him? And the Steelers fire right back.
The pass to John Stallworth succeeded because of a mistake in the Rams secondary. It appeared as if Stallworth had simply beaten Rod Perry man on man, but actually, Perry should have had help from safety Eddie Brown. The Rams employed 5 defensive backs on the play, and Brown, the safety, was responsible for the deep middle zone. But when Stallworth raced through the middle, Brown ignored him and never helped Perry. Stallworth, who should have been double-teamed, outreached his single pursuer for the ball. After Stallworth's touchdown, the Steelers loosened up as though the game were over. Once again, they were wrong.
The lead changing hands 7 times, and the Rams hope that they have one more chance left.
I think we can throw on first down now. I think we could throw on first down, even drop back passes. Hey, Ray, You got to go to the end zone with it. You got to go to the end zone with it.
The Rams 86 yards away from the Steeler end zone, trailing by 5 points. Maybe one more miracle remains in their satchel in the 1979 season.
Okay, come on, Ferragamo, play action, you sucker.
Looking downfield, throws downfield, caught by Drew Hill on a bound.
Let's go! Moving offensive line!
The Rams summoned up the heart no one thought they had.
Ferragamo trips up, regains his balance,
and slowly fought their way toward the Steeler goal.
All right, that's it. We got it. We got it.
Here's the delayed handoff to Colin Bryant. 45, 40, 35. He's still missing the 30-yard line.
Fans who withheld their love for so long suddenly poured it out in cheers for a scrappy underdog who refused to give up.
Ferragamo pitched and down he goes. J.T. Thomas got him at the 39.
Why the hell didn't he audible in 97?
Quality in motion, far side, and Ferragamo going back to pass. He's going to scramble. He's going to run the 35, the 40, and down the 42-yard line.
Ferragamo, let it go!
On first down, he looks downfield. He shoots it over the middle, long for Gennard, a diving catch at the 40-yard line. First down, Rams.
The Rams were on the verge of another score when Ferragamo made his first and only mistake of the game.
Ferragamo back to pass, shoots it over the middle. Intercepted by the Steelers. Lambert at the 15, the 20. Lambert still on his feet, cutting to the middle of the field, and he's down at the 30-yard line. First interception of the game off the arm of Ferragamo, and for Pittsburgh Steelers fans, it could not have come at a better time with 5:24 to go in the game.
Waddy was wide open, Ray. Waddy was wide open, Ray, on the post.
By day, the Rams' sparkling spirit had kept the game close. But by night, it faded into the black reality of the Pittsburgh Steelers mustering whatever it takes to win games when most of America is watching.
You're not going to throw high percentage passes against the Rams. Go deep and get the big play because they're going to take away high percentage passing.
Pittsburgh just wants to maintain possession, and it's a very big third down play. Nickel defense in for Los Angeles. Bradshaw back to pass. He sets up at the 23. He throws long down the center of the field for Stallworth. He's got it at the 25 and down at the 22.
The first long pass to Stallworth had given the Steelers the lead. This one pointed the way to ultimate victory.
And now the Rams' hopes start to dim as Pittsburgh is on their way to another world championship. Backs to the wall. Time running out. They can ill afford any kind of score right here. The game will be put out of reach by the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Harris slices off the left side for a touchdown. Franco Harris slicing off the left side for a Steeler touchdown. Ladies and gentlemen, Super Bowl 14 is history. The Pittsburgh Steelers are the champions of the National Football League for the second straight year.
Super Bowl 14 took its shape from the team that lost just as much as the team that won. The Los Angeles Rams earned a dignity in defeat which they had never achieved in victory. The Rams won respect, but the Pittsburgh Steelers won another world championship.
It's all over in Pasadena. The end of Super Bowl 14, the final score. Pittsburgh 31, Los Angeles 19. Possibly, and they'll debate this, possibly the most exciting Super Bowl game in history. Certainly one of the better ones. Terry Bradshaw named the most valuable player. And the Steelers stand atop the pro football world tonight.
This NFL Films production has been brought to you by the National Football League. The NFL is online at www.nfl.com.